welcome to another episode of High Voltage. I am your host. I am Mackenzie Nelson, and I am here hoping to help you live your life fully engaged, fully charged, ready with whatever the present moment has for you, right? To understand and harness the power that is the present moment that we are both partaking in right now. I may have pre recorded this episode, but know that I am here with you in spirit and intention, walking alongside you, holding space, praying for you, and believing that the best is yet to come in your life. It is my hope and wish for every one of you watching this right now to know you're loved, you're worthy, you're enough. Yes, you are enough. Stop telling yourself you'll never be enough and start understanding that it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. That's gone. That's all over now. What you have is the present and a future to look forward to greatly. And I hope that my podcast can help you see the positive side that the present moment brings to us, the ability to harness this moment and manifest it and make the most out of your present so that you are building yourself an incredible future. Get excited, guys. You got one life to live. You're living it now. So you might as well make the most out of it. And how are we going to do that? Well, today we're going to talk about why not let go control. So it's all about thinking about letting go of control, right? When we think about control, all I see is this picture right now in my head, the Carrie Underwood song, Jesus, take the wheel, take it from my hands. And so many times along my own journey, I've heard that song playing in my head where I've been brought to my knees, right, by tough life circumstances, whether that be loss or pain in my body, emotionally, physically, and otherwise. So many times in my journey, I have been brought to a place where I am just left, clawing at my floor, like, why, like, why did this happen? Why is it this way? Why, no matter how hard I try, things just continually fall apart? It feels like the harder I try, the more it all falls to pieces. Now, I know someone listening right now is relating to this. I think you just had an experience today where your whole world may have fallen apart, whether you lost a job, lost a loved one, or just received really bad medical news. These are life experiences that crush us in the moment and bring us to confront a new revelation about how these experiences have changed us and who are we now. If you are walking through a loss or you've been through, whether that's a pet or you've lost a parent or a child, possibly, these experiences change us. They leave an imprint on us. And each time one of these events happens in our life, it leads us back to a place of re-examining our life and trying to understand, you know, who are we now despite this loss? How have we changed? And what does this mean for me in my journey? We have no control over these events happening in our lives, and they can leave us feeling powerless and wondering what it's even about. They can leave us feeling so empty that we feel that nothing will ever be right again in the world or with our lives or with our circumstances, grappling with a new reality that we know something has changed and it's devastated me. And now I have to figure out how to be okay when I feel anything but okay with the way things are. And feeling powerless can make us feel angry, right? Like mad, like, oh, this is not fair. I have felt that way so many times in my life that regardless of controlling the things that I know I have power over, whether that be the ability to love someone well through forgiveness, through staying on the path of acting out of who I am and not letting my emotions control me. Although sometimes they do, they still get the better of me, but I am trying. I too am a work in progress, and I will be until the day I depart this earth. I believe that is the journey, right? We are always going, if you believe in God, from glory to glory. We are evolving, we are always becoming. We are in a constant state of becoming. If you are not in a state of becoming, then you are regressing, right? It wasn't until I gave up control, I surrendered, and I said, God, I cannot make sense of it. I can't make sense of the madness, is the existence of the life that we have to live today. Inflation is through the roof. You know, we've all been through a pandemic. If someone would have told me 20 years ago, hey, there's going to be a pandemic in 20 years, I would have laughed. Yet here we are. If anything, the pandemic can teach us is that we don't always know what's going to happen. We don't have control over things like our health. Things can happen, accidents, and we're left trying to understand and put the pieces of our lives back together. And now what? And that feeling of panic and stress, sadness can feel overwhelming, like an all consuming storm that we are perpetually caught up in and expected somehow to function as normal. It gets to me too. But what I learned was instead of focusing on the storm as a bad thing, right? Hence high voltage, lightning striking. When you think about it hitting a person, the damaging effects it could have on our body and the totality of someone who's been actually struck by lightning is a terrifying thing. They're burned through and through. But when I look at the storm and I can see the beauty in it, the parallels for my life, the energizing effect that lightning can have for knowledge, for helping us understand circumstances that are beyond our control. And how can we understand them? For me, everything changed when I recognized the higher power that is God, and that He is a good God, and that He is for me, and that He is working all things to my good and for my good. He wants me to prosper. He wants me to be the me that He created, to fully know Him and to be known by Him. And when I started to be able to trust Him on a daily basis with my heart, with my emotions, with honesty and integrity, and just telling Him straight up, this is how I feel. And coming to a place of understanding that we don't have to know it all. We just have to know the one who does. That is when everything started to come together in my life. Even though everything was falling apart, I was starting to see the beauty in the unknown. I was starting to uncover the new open spaces that were presenting explorative opportunities that I never would have even seen had I not taken a moment to understand that I don't always have to have the answers. I don't have to be in control, because I know the one who is, and I know I can trust Him. I know that He will be there for me, that He is there for me in the crushing, breaking, and the pain of it all. I am fully understood even when I don't understand. And that is a comfort for me that I bring into the present moment. And I honor God in that space. And I feel Him. I feel Him. I palpably feel Him with me, even though I may not understand my circumstances or why things happen the way they do. I know that someday this is all going to manifest in a beautiful representation of a life, because I have given my life to him and said, God, I don't know the way, I don't know the why, but I do know that you are in it all and I can trust you. And when I leaned on him day after day, I started to feel him palpably show up in my life. And I saw him when he manifested in my bedroom. And nothing has been the same since. He can be that real in your life too. You just never know what path he has for you or what plan he has for your life until you really plug in and you fully submit yourself. And really, what that looks like is just laying down your pride, laying down your ways of doing things in exchange for his ways. For we only see in part, right? We only see a part of the picture, but his ways are higher. He sees it all. And he is always working behind the scenes to move people, places into your life when you are aligned and on that path with him, submitted to his wisdom and authority over your life. That doesn't look like shaming yourself. That doesn't look like saying, I'm just not enough. It just looks like admitting you don't have it all figured out, humbling yourself and asking him to show you the way day by day, one day at a time, one moment at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time, 1 year, 1 decade. And before you know it, yours is a life fully lived, enjoyed, explored, endeared by many. Because when you align with God, when you give up your control, the beauty that starts to take shape is stunning. I can tell you because this is how I live my life. And I get to encourage people now, and I get to share, and I get to speak, and I get to feel heard and loved. And that is something that I thank him for every single day. And I know whatever you are going through, you can feel so powerless, so small, and so tiny in it all, because we are. But when you give him control ultimately over your life, and you know that no matter where he leads you, he's going to be there, then you can accomplish great things one moment at a time with his guidance, simply by having the courage to admit you don't know everything. He will show you, he will show up in your life in powerful ways that you could never expect, because he loves to surprise us. That is one thing I have learned about God. He loves surprises, and I'm getting there. Okay. I'm still getting there on the whole surprise thing myself. But I just laugh. If you could see my past experiences over the course of the last 3 years and how he has shown up and manifested, it's been a wild ride. And I do not regret partnering with God, and I never will, because I love myself and I love who I am. And I love being able to see myself in the mirror every day and say that and appreciate what God has made, and to really savor and enjoy these life moments that we're presented with without the distraction. How do you stay, undistracted from the present moment? You keep refocusing. And after a while, after shifting your focus to the present moment, oh, I'm on something else. No, get back here. I'm thinking somewhere. No, get back here. Back here. It has been a practice of present moment for me for years now. Back to the present moment, because I can wander, I can drift, I can stress, I get worried, I feel anxious. Sometimes I care too much about what people think. I'm a person who is really striving to live the way that I am sharing with you about on this podcast. And the truth of it all is, I would 100% rather be this person on this side of my journey than who I was before. And I want the same for you. And I know God does too. So if you have that notebook handy and you have a pen, why don't you write in real big word, just in capital letters, control. And just look at the word control. Now, I want you to think about the areas in your life where maybe you've got your hands in and now you're sticking a foot in and another foot in, and you're really trying real hard just to make a situation go the way you want. And I'm telling you, there's a reason that that situation hasn't worked out yet for you, no matter how hard you try. No matter what you do, you cannot get the outcome you want because you are too focused on your own way of doing things. But when you give that up, you give your ways up, you can really see God come in and start to show you how to shift into another direction that's going to set you on the path to purpose, destiny. And He has a different one waiting for each one of us. And a lot of times, shifting your path and your destiny is going to look a lot like things are falling apart. When you give up control, there is a feeling of like, oh no, now. But when you watch God work and you see things start to manifest and come together in ways you knew that no matter how much you tried to control that, it never would have worked out that way, you start building your faith and you start relying on Him. You start giving Him more areas of your life. You start giving up more control over certain things, whether that be your job, your family, your relationships. When you just give that to Him, He takes that burden off of you, relieves that stress, and frees you to really enjoy your life and be present with your family in the moments instead of having them stolen by worry or stress, things out of your control. Nothing good can manifest when you're just focusing on worrying about something that either already happened, where you messed up, or maybe you said something stupid, or this or that. What is going to come out of spending your emotional energy? Because we only have a certain amount of emotional energy to spend every day. It's like a bank account. You've got to be cognizant of how much you have every day and where you're spending it. If you're always exhausted, always tired, it's a pretty good sign that you are overdrawn on your emotional account. These are signs that what you're doing isn't working for you. So if you want energy, you want to be energized and ready, then you have got to give up the worry and the illusion that you can control anything, right? And surrender it to the one who is able, ready, willing, powerful, good, kind, loving, merciful. Just give it to Him. Just try it one time. And then let me know how it changed your life. All right, guys, that's what I got for you today. And also, here it is, the 3 pages a day journal that is now available on Amazon. So we'll leave that link for you to go ahead and grab your copy. How I wrote my book, 3 pages a day. And it's just filled with some quotes. And as you can see, a lot of the pages are blank, have some quotes on them, like I said. But other than that, this is just a free range open space for you to write. You could even use this to go along with my podcast. I'm a really big fan of taking notes, writing things down. This could just be with you throughout the day where you feel, oh, I heard something and I think I need to think about that a little more. This is just great to keep on your person, then have a pen there and just write it down in the moment. There are multiple uses for it. If you want to journal, go on your own healing journal. I also did an episode a little more in depth about the 3 pages a day. So go look that up if you are interested and snag yourself a copy. You guys, I hope you have a great weekend, and I can't thank you enough for subscribing. Hit that button, and I will see you next week.